Bob. It's an honor to have you and interview you today. How are you?
I'm actually great. I mean, it's Hollywood. Come on.
Yes, it is Hollywood. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to start with an introduction.
Okay.
Pranga is a decorator who specializes in Christmas and the holidays. He does this through his business, Dr. Christmas, which he runs with his partner, Debi Staron. Together, they do everything from decorating apartments, stores, and museums, like the Hollywood Museum, to making house calls for celebrities, Seacrest, the Jonas Brothers, to doing the set dressing for television and film, Surviving Christmas, Friends.
Yeah, okay.
I'm curious to know how your calling for Dr. Christmas was born, so tell us more about this.
Well, actually, it all came about as an accident because I didn't wake up one morning and say, gee, I want to be a Christmas decorator. What I did is that after college, I went to New York and with the hopes of pursuing acting, which for a while we did a lot of the soap operas and things like that, and it was going fine, but like all actors, you had to make a living. So on the side, I got a job working at Macy's Herald Square, and they put me in the cosmetics department. And then one day they said, we need help on the Christmas floor because Macy's is so big about Christmas and all, that I went up and helped them put up Christmas trees, and they liked what I did, so they kept me there. Well, one day Mia Farrow walked in and saw it and said, gee, I wish somebody would do that in my house. And I said, well, I was 21 years old. And I went, well, I can come help you. Sure, why not? You know, I'm so Midwestern and thinking, oh, this will be fun.
How does Dr. Christmas production help clients create upscale holiday design for film, television, commercial, and private homes?
Well, each one of those has a basic premise, you know, that for private clients, it's generally I come over and if you called me, I would, you know, we'd sit down and figure out what you want to do as far as what is it for. Is it for a party? Is it for your family? Is it for you? Or, you know, are you just too tired and don't want to be bothered, you know?
Right.
So we establish that, and more or less we walk through the house and find out to what extent they want to do it, establish a budget. And I always tell the clients, and this I think is part of my success, is that when I talk to people, and I have this Midwest demeanor, I guess I get away with it, I can tell them that's like, you know, I love Christmas, and if you want to participate, we're going to have a good time. But if you don't want to have a good time, then stay out of my way and sign the check. And they're all like, really? And I go, yep, that's it. And it works really, really well. Yeah, most of the folks in LA are very busy. Right. You know, and generally it's because we're such a factory town, and people are gone and their projects take them elsewhere. So they often like to be able to leave in the morning, come back in the afternoon, have it all done. And then we come back after the holidays, take it all down, put it all away, and it's like, you know, add water, instant Christmas. As far as the motion picture and television industry, that comes through a little bit. People specifically, like set decorators, art directors, come to me directly because they have a Christmas segment that they need to produce, or they, again, most of them don't like to do Christmas because it has too many little pieces. Okay. And, you know, and they have to hunt for them, and the director is always somebody who's like, I need you to put that Christmas centerpiece my grandma had on her table when I was a child. You know, and they're like, and so they come to me, and the sad thing is, or maybe the lucky thing for them is, they go, I know exactly what they're talking about. Right. And so we find that for them, and so we've gotten to do a lot of really fun, you know, films like Elf and Surviving Christmas, and, you know, it's been really cool. And sometimes you get to do sets like for the Polar Express, and then they animate them. And so that's very cool, and that's kind of how that comes along. And then we do a lot of commercials. Walmarts in particular like to come to me because you know you've done it right when the Walmart big shots come into the set, look at it and go, I thought he was supposed to use our merchandise. And they go, that is your merchandise. And they're like, really?
Beautiful, yeah.
So it's always very funny. So the set decorator that does those commercials calls me all the time. They're like, you make me look good. You know? Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels. Love her. She's adorable. she had me decorate her house, and it happened to be I could only get there at 10 o'clock at night because we were so busy. And she said, that's fine. And I remember while we were decorating, she says, honey, she's from Texas, you know, and she goes, honey, she said, are you hungry? And I go, and I was so into the LA frame of mind, I go, oh, I said, Jackie, don't get the staff up to make me something to eat at that hour. That's not cool. I don't want to do that to them. And she looked at me, she says, honey, they won't get up for me. I can still make a sandwich.
That's beautiful.
And it was one of those moments you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I just so like, it was a moment of realizing that you got so caught up in the protocol of the city and the business that you forgot that people are still people, you know, sometimes. And those were those moments. And, you know, and there's cool moments where you get to see people that you've always seen your entire life, or you grew up in, you know, like meeting Lana Turner, you know, and people like that, the old movie stars. And here you are talking to them because they knew all of these people and the stories that come around. I mean, I decorated for Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. And Debbie Reynolds is such a storyteller. And whenever you're around her, she knew everybody. Right. She knew everybody. And when you go to her house, she has all these signed pictures from Judy Garland to everybody that she has on the walls because she was a big fan. And so those are really, really cool. What I would tell people is that if you come to Los Angeles, in addition to what your passion is, come with a service. If you can find something that the well-to-do will pay you to do, it's a great door opening to things. Because what I learned in LA is, and I'm from the Midwest, in the Midwest, a good day is finding a deal, finding a coupon, finding a way to save some money, and getting things done. Here in Los Angeles, if you do not charge a nice chunk of change, they don't think you have any value.
Right.
And
value is important.
Value is very important. And when I first started this, I was charging what I thought was fair and nobody called. One day on the phone, I just made up some ridiculous price and they booked me. Because I had to learn that their perception of if you don't pay something for it, it's not worth it, was really that was a life lesson. And so I tell people that all the time.
Yes.
You know, and I had two great mentors, and their two words of advice was one said, make them pay, and the second was, take the money.
My next question is about your book, Christmas Style.
Okay.
So tell us who and how your book can help.
Well, okay. The book itself, it's interesting because the funny story behind that book is that we were actually working with Lisa Gibbons one day for a segment on Extra. And we got called to do the Anna Nicole show back in the 90s. And I was like, oh, I don't know, you know. So I went to Lisa and I asked her, I said, well, they want us to be on the Anna Nicole show. Thoughts about that? Is it a good career move, you know? And she says, Bob, you have to do it. And I said, really? And she goes, more people watch that show than all of us combined. You have to do it. So we agreed to it, and it was everything I thought it would be, you know. But now we get to tell the great stories of it. But fast forward a little bit, I get a call from New York, and DK Publishing wanted to do the Ultimate American Christmas book. And he called me and he said, hi, I'm a big fan of yours. I've been following for years, but you came back to my attention, you know, because I saw you on television. And I was like, oh, great. And I'm thinking we just done Home and Garden, HGTV, you know, Extra, CNN. No, it was the Anna Nicole show. He goes, I saw you on Anna Nicole. And I was like, oh, no. And, but it was because of that was the catalyst. This is how funny way the universe happens.
Yes.
Because of that particular show, they offered us a book deal. And so that was our first deal, and my partner Debbie and I are so used to getting it done. You know, it was a big growth spurt of anybody who ever has to work with a publisher. Most of the time, you're not going to get the people who understand what you're actually doing.
Okay.
And so it was a very challenging project. It came out with a beautiful result. Like, you know, I equate it to, if you ever see the documentary on the making of Gone with the Wind,
Okay.
By the end of the movie, everybody hated one another. But you got this classic that everybody enjoys for years to come. So it's one of those things that kind of occurred.
Difficult to put together, but then the result was beautiful.
But the result was great, but most of all, it was a learning experience. And the book itself was designed, it wasn't our original vision, but, because I'm not a big believer in coffee table books, truly, that you just look at and they don't help you. They're just pretty pictures because people look at them once and they put them away,
Right.
So it had to be a combination of that. It had to be a combination of how-to, a little bit of sharing the secrets, and it also had to be a combination of, if you saw something in this book, where can you find it? So it was a complete sourcing of everything that's in that book. So you could find the website, you could find the company, you could find the retail store of the things that we use. And a lot of the people in the Christmas industry are friends of mine. And so I wanted to make sure that if you're doing what you love in life, it's not work. Okay?
Yes.
And if you find yourself really hating your days, then maybe you need to look at that.
Right.
Because there is a reality called you need to survive and you need to pay your bills. But there's also a reality of, if you're going to do all of that, why not do it the way you want to?
Exactly.
So that's one of those things, because I was raised in the time period and part of the country where you worked very hard and didn't ask for much. Okay? And that was the other thing, was learning that it's not wrong to have nice things. It's not wrong to have abundance. It's not wrong to do any of those things. It just becomes wrong if your ways of doing them harm other people. We're only on the planet a short time, let's have a good time. And the ever motto that I always have, just remember to sparkle.
Sparkle, thank you.
Glitter gets you everywhere.
Yes, remember to sparkle. There you go.
That's right.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.